And of course, we have our girl, Lupita Nyong'o.
Damn it, you did so good before we got started.
I told you this was going to happen.
What's going on, guys and gals? Welcome to Good Will Hunting. It's your boy Brad, the Brett Man's right over there today. We're going to be giving you a spoiler-free review for A Quiet Place Day 1. Third movie in the franchise, but this one is taking us all the way back. Obviously, the first Quiet Place movie was, several hundred days in the future. Now we're going back to the first day, the outbreak, if you will. The invasion of these alien creatures is what I should be calling it. We're going to see how it all unfolded. I'm excited about it, Birdie. We had a good time.
Dude, man, I am so excited about this one, especially with the cast of this movie of our boy Joseph Quinn. If you don't know who he is, you should know him. But just in case, he is Eddie Munson from Stranger Things Season 4. And of course, we have our girl, Lupita Nyong'o.
Damn it, you did so good before we got started.
I told you this was going to happen.
Lupita
Nyong'o.
That'll work. All right, here we go. It's Nyong'o, but yes, there's an O at the end. But either way, yes.
Nyong'o.
There you go. Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Alex Wolf's also in this thing. He's great. This is directed by Michael Sarnowski, who did Pig a few years ago with Nicolas Cage. So when they announced him as the director, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be a little bit weirder than what people are going to like. Not weird, but like a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more. Story driven, more character driven. Well, yeah, there's no pigs in this, but per se, but there is a cat. So there's that. But and that's what we got here. I wasn't too surprised. The movie in general, it takes place in New York City. They're in day one of the outbreak. Lupita Nyong'o's character's in town. She's trying to get a bite of pie. That's really what her whole thing is. Pizza, that is, and that's how it kind of rolls from there. Of course, she runs into Mr. Quinn here, Joseph Quinn, and those two basically experience the first days of this alien invasion and how it unfolds. So that's pretty much what it's about. Without getting into too many details, what are we thinking about this flick?
What are we thinking about this flick? I absolutely love this movie. This is a movie that I wanted, but it gave me a lot more than I actually wanted in this movie. I was going in with the expectations of like a 4 out of 5, but those expectations were risen because of the excellent storytelling in this movie. A big MVP of this movie, I'll go ahead and say right off the bat, is the sound design of this movie, the sound editing. This franchise will forever be known in cinematic history. Like, if you want to know how to make sound feel so important and so scary for a horror movie, you need to study this franchise, especially the first one and this movie.
Second one too. They're all really good when it comes to sound. Mm-hmm. I'll say this. I think I was actually kind of mixed on this flick at the end of the day. Like, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I appreciated the character-driven approach that it took here, focusing more so on the characters than the creatures, because that's what you get in this thing. But I do almost feel like it went a little over the top with that. I love the fact that we're getting a horror movie that actually really is like a fantastic story with two characters that like. I love that. And you guys know I love a good story, but the third movie in the franchise being called Day One, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more like, I don't know, maybe open up this world a little bit more, maybe be a little bit less focused on two characters, more focused on the world itself. That's just for me kind of what I wanted, what I expected. In my opinion, that opening we got in Quiet Place 2 that John Krasinski did is more effective than any of the action sequences in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's got more tension. This movie had some great sequences in it with the creatures and stuff, but I thought they were all like really short and they were kind of far and few between. Like as soon as one started, I would get pumped up. I would get amped. I was excited, but then it would be over in like 2 minutes. And then there'll be another 20 minutes where there's nothing, which is great. Again, I love a good story. I love focusing on the characters as much as the next guy. But for this being the third movie in the franchise, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more focused on the monsters, because we didn't really like the first movie was a character driven one and it was great. The second one was too. But at this point, being called Day One, I wanted more action. At the end of the day, which I usually don't say. That's kind of the opposite. But for me, I don't know. I kind of felt myself getting bored in this movie a few times. At the end of the day, did I still love it? Yeah. I mean, or did I still enjoy it? Yeah, I still liked it quite a bit. I thought the characters were outstanding. I mean, there were some great, gut-wrenching moments in this thing. There was, some great moments of characters bonding together and and stuff like that that you love to see. I love all that.
Which I kind of agree. They could have done a little bit more with it being day one. But it just, to me, I think this franchise works at its best when it just focuses on smaller groups of characters. And the characters that we got to learn about for this movie, I thought almost right. Just like, Brad, can you see how this close I am?
No, I can't even see that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not touching, I promise, but that close. I almost prefer these two sets of characters than I do the Abbott family. It was that close for me. But just the Abbotts just get the small ned just because they were the first group of characters we got to know in this world of A Quiet Place.
With this one being set in New York, you're the first days of this invasion. Now's your chance to kind of explore this world a little bit more and really explain how it got to be where it went. This is not really what we got with this movie. I feel like the New York setting, I wouldn't say it was wasted. Like, it was solid. Like, it was definitely still important, but I think they could have done a little bit more with it.
They could have.
It makes up for it. I think, it is going to be something that I'm still going to enjoy future rewatches. Well, I just remember sitting there a few times. I was bored, but the character moments are great. The moment in the piano bar,
Yes.
with the two characters, outstanding. All that stuff was really good. It didn't really feel like a monster Quiet Place movie at times with those. I mean, that could have been in any story. Is why I'm mixed on it, because I love the fact that we have something like that in a horror movie. I don't know. I'm still just kind of up in the air about it.
No, that's okay, man. I feel like this is kind of a movie. Like, if you were kind of anticipating one thing with it, kind of like Brad, like wanting more to go on with it. But now you know what this movie's about. So maybe on a second rewatch, you might appreciate it a little more. Maybe. And if not, hey, that's okay too. That's what I love about the horror genre.
And I expected it to be like when they announced the director, I knew that it was not going to be exactly what I was looking, what I was looking for. I knew it was going to be, and I love Pig too. I think it's a great movie. I knew it was going to be similar to that, and it is. There's a lot of good things about it too. That Brett's
give me freaking Frodo too, the freaking cat. That has to be the most well-trained cat I have ever seen in a movie ever. That cat went underwater, like at certain times has gone underwater so many times. Cats do not like water. Maybe a salt water supply, but never fresh water. But the cat, that cat Frodo, man. And what was great is that cat got ending credit. Like when the cast girls at the end credits, Frodo's name got mentioned, like the actual cat name and everything. And I thought that was spectacular. Yeah. But other than that, though, without really pretty much going to spoiler territory, I really gotten probably the one big thing that kind of irked me a little bit for holding this back for being a perfect score. I feel like at one point of the movie there was a logical issue to it, and again, I don't want to go in without spoiling anything. I just found a couple of logic issues with this movie. At the end of the day, though, I think this is a successful entry into this franchise. And I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to rank this yet, because after you watch this review later on, that like the day of this release or maybe the next day, you'll get to see the ranking is exactly where we put A Quiet Place Day One along with the other two movies. I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. I thought this movie was absolutely spectacular. It scared me with the sound effects. They did a great job.
All right. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Like I said, overall, I know I said a lot of negative things about it, but I still very much enjoyed it. Still one of my better horror movies of the year so far. Love this story. I love the characters here. They were both really good. They did a fantastic job. But when it comes to the creatures, the action, the world, that is, I thought this was the weakest. I thought all the action sequences here. No, I don't think there's a single action sequence in this movie that really compares with anything they did in the first two. That's just, my opinion. They were all short, they were cut. There wasn't, in my opinion, I didn't feel as much tension in this movie as I did the first two either. I'm going to go ahead and say 3.75 for Quiet Place Day One.
Brad made an excellent point right there, because also stay tuned that we will be releasing our halfway point of horror movies of 2024. Will Quiet Place land on that list? Stay tuned. What did you all think about A Quiet Place Day One, the third movie into the entry, and now at this point we could call it the Quiet Place franchise? Did you really enjoy this movie? Do you think this could be a top tier movie within this franchise? Or are you kind of like with Brad, that you still liked it, but there were some problems with it? Or did you absolutely not like this movie? Let us know in the comments section down below. Let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on all of our socials down there in the description for you to find.
Abso-frickin-lutely. Until then, man, I'm gonna go hang it out here because I am majorly craving some whiskey and a pizza.
Hell yeah, get you some, bud.
Yeah.